Perfect.
Great.
So good morning. Joined as well. We are going to start at 12. We still have a couple of minutes. We let some more students and educators join. And 12, we'll give it to you, Abhinav sir, after an
So,
introduction. Educators, everybody who's watching us live today, and everybody who's going to be watching us soon, once we upload the recording and it reaches each one of you. We're doing a very beneficial session today. We're talking about biology, and as we call it, beaming biology, because this is a subject that does not beam for too many students. You have your fears when it comes to both, especially. So, we've got an expert for you all the way from Delhi. We have Mr. Abhinav Datta, and with a quick introduction, I will pass on the dais to him. He is a postgraduate in biotechnology, and Mr. Datta has done research on biofertilizers and biofuels during his MTech from UPTU. He's also a gold medalist in MTech and his B.Ed. As you can see up on the slide, there are various journals also that he has written into, Indian and international. And presently, he heads the biotechnology department of Ahlcon International School and is also the Global Teacher Awardee 2021, Rising Star Awardee 2021, and the Best Teacher Awardee for 2016-17 in Science and Technology. So students, this should excite you because you truly have an expert who's going to address some of your concerns every day about boards. And I know that COVID has thrown us a little topsy-turvy. The world is all going all around and we don't know how to get hold of it. So we've been doing these expert sessions. We finished with the Class 10 series under CLEF, that's the Career Launcher Education Foundation. And now we are headed to the Class 12 series. This is the second episode. We've finished economics yesterday, and we have Sir talking about biology today. So there is just one simple rule to this particular webinar, that you must ask your questions during the end and take complete advantage of Sir's presence here. With this, sir, I'm going to stop the screen share and hand it over to you so that you could run your PPT. And all yours, I'm going to be here along in the session in case anything is required. So good luck and over to you. Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. So, I just need a help. I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
So, you just need to tell me that, are you able to see it?
Perfectly fine.
All right. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I'm Abhinav Datta. I am HOD Biotechnology of Ahlcon International School. It is my proud privilege to share my views on the tips to score 100% in Class 12 biology exam, and also discuss the curriculum changes that have taken place in biology today. So let's begin, everyone. Basically, I have divided this particular webinar into 7 parts. We are going to start with the syllabus and the blueprint, because this year, due to COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a major change in the syllabus as well as in the blueprint. We're going to talk about some deleted portions, because definitely there are some parts which have been deleted, and there is a lot of confusion that keeps up in the mind of the student that what part has been deleted and what is included. So we will also have a quick review of the deleted portion. Then we are going to talk about the new addition in the biology board exam paper. Basically, there have been various new changes. Paper has actually shifted towards an application based. Earlier, it was just a theoretical where people used to score easily, but now concepts have to be built upon. So for that conceptual building questions, we need to understand what have been the inclusion from this year, 2020-21. Then the highlight of this particular presentation, that would be the tips to score high in biology. What are the things that we should keep in mind while we are preparing for biology exam? What are the key points that we should also keep in mind while we are writing our exam paper? So that we're going to discuss in the 4th section. In the 5th section, I'm going to tell you about the sure shot success mantra. Being a biologist and a biotechnologist, it becomes very important for us to understand the key points, the key things that will help us to shut down the paper, that will help us to crack the paper with a top score. Then we are going to discuss about the section-wise strategy. Students, let me tell you, there's nobody who's going to tell you how should you build your section-wise strategy, because the paper is going to be new to you. Sample papers are available, but if you go from the previous background of the exams, this is going to be a new concept all over again. So then section-wise strategy will be very important for all of us. And lastly, the most important part is the stress that we usually face during the exam. And you can understand, and even I can feel that since the exams have been postponed to May, there has been a lot of stress. You will be disconnected from your school. And again, there will be pressure also, like we are prepared to give the exam in March, but moving on to the May, it will be again an entirely different environment that we need to face. So we should also have a time management and scheduling. Plus, we will also have the pressure of our competitive exams that will be coming into the play. So all these things I have kept in mind, and I have designed my presentation in such a way that I'm able to reach to all of you, and we are able to have a good interactive session. So let's begin with the first thing, that is class 12 biology curriculum. Biology is the subject of science stream that works as a stepping stone for an amazing career in the fields of medicine and biotechnology. I'm sure all the people who are actually opting for biology wants to be a doctor in future, or else if not doctor, then they want to be a biotechnologist, a successful biotechnologist who can help us to discover vaccines for COVID-19. For all these things, the foundation for our subject, be it for any competitive exam, NEET, AI, PMT, the foundation that lies is biology. In fact, bio is the heart of all these students who are aspiring to become a doctor. Biology for CBSE Class 12 is of 100 marks. The exam paper is of 100 marks, and it is divided into two parts. 70 marks theory. You all know that we have a theory paper of 70 marks that we are going to talk about. And the most important one is 30 marks practical, which we cannot ignore. You know, all the things keep in our mind. We always think 30 marks practical, ye to ho jayega. We'll be able to do it. Not an issue. Ye to bahut aasani se our school will give us marks. But let me tell you, if we do not know the practical properly, if you're not working on the practicals, then our theory will also not be up to the mark. So the practicals have to be taken care. In fact, at the end, I have kept 10 minutes where I'll be telling you how you should crack your practical exam, because I can understand during this pandemic, due to blended learning, due to online teaching, it was difficult for you to do hands-on practicing, but there will be ways out, and there is a solution to every problem. We are going to discuss about the practicals also at the end of this complete presentation. Now here I have given you some pie charts. First pie chart I've already demonstrated. The second pie chart is telling us about the theory. Now children, in class 12, our syllabus book is divided into 5 basic units. It starts from reproduction. Reproduction is carrying 20% of the total paper. That is 14 marks according to CBSE have been assigned to this unit. And let me tell you, maximum diagrams, maximum concepts are actually asked from reproduction. Then the largest unit which is being given, which is being assigned to our syllabus, is genetics. Genetics involves mechanisms. There is transcription, translation. There are a lot of mechanisms. There are a lot of conceptual questions. There is understanding in this particular unit. That's why CBSE gives you a large percentage. So a total of 26 percentage has been given to genetics. Then there is a scoring unit, that is biology and human welfare. This is a very scoring unit. Students usually enjoy it because it's a simple one. If we make our notes, we will be able to learn it, and we will be able to revise regularly. We'll be able to score well. So again, it is 20%. That again goes for 14 marks. Reproduction, 14. Genetics, 18. Biology in human welfare, it again carries 14 marks. That is 20%. Then it is biotechnology, which is again the heart of the syllabus. Biotechnology is not easily understood by a layman. We need to be very we need to be very equipped. Conceptually, we should be equipped if you want to crack biotechnology, because biotechnology has proper understanding. Those of you who have opted biotech in class 12 with biology, I'm sure it would be a cakewalk for you. But those who have not opted biotech with biology in class 12, they would face a little difficulty, but I'll tell you how to do it. You'll be able to understand it well. We'll be doing one example also on this. So this is carrying 17 marks. It is 70%. 17% goes to almost 12 marks. So biotech is confined with 12 marks. And the last one is ecology and environment. Ecology and environment, according to the pie chart, holds 17%, which is almost equal to biotechnology again. And it is also carrying 12 marks. So that's the subject-wise weightage which has been assigned to the 5 units from which our class 12 syllabus is being designed. We start with reproduction with 20%, genetics 26% highest, biology and human welfare again 20%, biotechnology 17%, ecology and environment 17%. So that's the complete weightage that has been given to the syllabus of class 12 biology. In fact, we should always devise a strategy by which we should make up our list from where we are going to prepare, how we are going to prepare, which chapter is to be given priority. If all these things are kept in mind, definitely the paper will be in our hands. If we have a proper conceptual knowledge, if we are reading NCRT very properly, I'm sure nobody can stop us to score 100%. Plus, if our practical base is also strong, if we have a very good hands-on training, the paper would be a cakewalk for us. So now let's discuss the syllabus as well as let's implement the new changes that have been introduced in our sample paper according to CBSE, and that will be carried forward in the biology board exam. So as we have already discussed, our syllabus is divided into 5 units. Reproduction has 3 chapters. Sexual reproduction in plants. Then we have human reproduction, reproductive health. These 3 chapters makes up 1 unit of reproduction, almost equal to 14 marks. Then we have genetics and evolution. Evolution has been removed. So genetics is of 2 parts: inheritance, that is inheritance and variation. And the second one, we have the molecular basis of inheritance, where we have DNA replication, transcription, translation, genetic code. So almost this makes the highest percentage, it makes the highest marks weightage in our syllabus, that is 18. So we need to focus on genetics very properly. In fact, every chapter is important. Biology in human welfare and human welfare. Here we have human health and disease. I'm telling you, everybody is so much attracted towards the chapter because again, it's COVID-19 pandemic. We want to know what disease is all about. We want to know how common cold is caused, what is the cause of pneumonia, diphtheria, AIDS, malaria. So in fact, this chapter is of a huge importance and we enjoy doing it. Second is microbes in human welfare. Microbes are also being very easily learned and it's very easily understood. So this is the unit that students enjoy doing. It's of 14 marks. Biotechnology, the principle, it is again of 2 chapters. The first one is the principles of biotechnology, where we deal with recombinant DNA technology, how a DNA is being cut, it is pasted with a vector, and then it is transmitted into a host. So the entire study of this is of first chapter, and the application of biotechnology is of second chapter. So these 2 chapters together make a total of 12 marks in our syllabus. The last one is ecology and environment. Ecology and environment deals with 2 chapters, organisms and population, and the second one is biodiversity. So these 2 chapters, earlier they were 4, but now they have reduced down to 2 chapters and total makes it to 12. So in all, 14 marks for reproduction, 18 for genetics, 14 for biology and human welfare, 12 for biotechnology, 12 for ecology. So total goes to around 24, 28 plus 18 goes to 70. So that's how the complete description of the syllabus has been made for class 12 biology. Now let's talk about the blueprint. The most important thing is how the paper is going to be designed. See children, if you really focus on the paper, if you understand each and every section, it would be an easy cakewalk for you to actually crack the board exam paper. The first section is section A, which is made up of short questions, very short answer type questions. We will have one-liners in it. In fact, 10 questions, 10 or 11 questions would be one-liners where you need to directly write one-line answer. You don't have to describe or something. It would be simple analytical questions, or it could be just 1-mark diagram that may be asked. Then you would have MCQs. MCQs would be more or less based on assertion reason. This time it would be assertion reasons, which we commonly see in AIPMT, which requires a lot of practice, which requires a lot of application conceptual knowledge. So that would be around 2-3 questions or maybe 4-5. That depends upon the setting of the paper. And the last will be 2 questions from this section would be either a case-based, a passage-based, a graph-based, or it could be a source-based. Now, this is not an English passage that you would just simply get a unseen passage and you have to answer from that. No, this would not be there. It would be basically a case where they would give you some paragraph or a picture. You need to understand NCRT should be known to you, and you would be able to answer the questions according to that. And the questions that would be asked from them would be MCQs. So that would be definitely a plus point to you. So the number of the questions from section A would be 16. 15 and 16 would be based, and 15 and 16 would also have 4 parts each. So total would go about 22. So you can understand section A, which is 1 marker, would have almost 22 questions. So 22 questions, and because they are of 1 mark, so they will be carrying total of 22 marks. So you can understand section A would be large. It is thoroughly a conceptual and application based section. We need to actually crack it very properly, because if we lose 1 mark here, our dream of getting 100%, our dream of getting a 0.1 percentile certificate would be lost. So it becomes very imperative. It becomes, in fact, it becomes very important for all of us to crack this section very carefully, to actually go through this section very slowly. That's why I've given the maximum timing to this section only. Then we have section B, which is short answer type question. This time they have introduced 9 questions here. They are of 2 marks. So 9 twos are 18. So total marks which is confined for this section is 18. Then we have section C, which earlier we used to focus on a very large time. This time, the section C, which is a long answer type section, we have 5 questions confined to us. These 5 questions carry 3 marks. So the total goes 5 into 3, 15. So 15 marks have been confined to section C. And the last section, that is the section D, it just have 3 questions, and each question usually gets an or option. So you have an optional questions which are very highly asked from this section. So you get 3 questions which you need to attempt, and these 3 questions carry a total of 5 marks. So it goes to 3, 5, 15. So you can see section D also carries 15 marks. So we can conclude from this particular slide that section C and D goes for 15 marks each, that is 30. Section A and B, section A carries 22 marks, section B carries 18 marks. So 22 and 18 will go up or all about 40. So 40 plus 30 will be 70. 70 is the complete description of the paper. So this is how the CBSE Class 12 board paper would be designed. It is also analogous to biotechnology paper. Same is the way they are going to put up the questions, and we need to understand how we need to solve all of them. Now let's talk about the deleted portions in Class 12 examination. So CBSE has actually announced a 30% reduction in the syllabus after revising the curriculum, reducing the current load in order to lessen the stress. The major aim why they have done this reduction is to reduce down the stress. In the COVID pandemic situation, it was actually difficult for you all to understand the online classes, though the teachers have put in a lot of efforts to make you well versed with the course, but CBSE has also put on some less stress on you. So from 9 to 12 all across, there is a 30% reduction in the syllabus. The focus is to retain the core concepts. The major reason why they have reduced down is to lessen the stress, but they have also kept in mind that the core concepts, the core analytical things that are being present in the book should be retained. So they have tried to rationalize the syllabus in such a way that major chapters are not disturbed. Only the concepts have to be retained. Only the chapters which are not maybe a continuation can be trimmed down. So they have just trimmed down the chapters which are again not a very commonly a continuation or that are not exactly related to the unit. So they have just removed down those particular chapters, and they will not be a part of our syllabus also, and even in the internal and external examinations also they won't be counted. And also apart from the theory, they have also trimmed down some basic practicals, which again they feel that they would not be causing much major cause disturbance in the syllabus. So they have also trimmed down some practicals to ease down the current load as well as burden upon you all. So the major things that have been removed, let's talk about them. Chapter number 1 from reproduction, that is reproduction in organism, has been completely removed. Then evolution is also removed from genetics and evolution unit. The complete chapter has been trimmed down. Then from biology and human welfare, strategies for enhancement in the food production has been completely trimmed down. Animal husbandry, plant breeding, all these things have been removed. And last but not the least, from ecology and environment, they have basically trimmed down ecosystem and environmental issues. Again, keeping in mind that it would reduce the stress upon you all, it would ease down some syllabus, and you would be able to answer the questions more in a better way. And also keeping in mind that these are not the continuation concepts. They just want to retain the concept. So this is the rationalization which has been done, keeping in mind the CBSE curriculum. These are the removals from the CBSE syllabus. This is the major deletion that has been done. Now, the most important thing, let's talk about the new edition in biology exam paper 2020-21. The first and the foremost is the assertion reason-based questions. It has now been introduced, in fact, and from 9 to 12, this particular concept has come into the play. But for class 12 biology, this is for the first time that assertion reason-based questions have been introduced. Now, to answer assertion reason-based questions, there are multiple ways a student can actually take over. The first and the foremost way is you should always read the assertion and reason statements very, very carefully. It becomes very imperative to actually go through it. You cannot just read one of the statement and just move towards the options and tick any one of it. No, you have to read them properly, take your time, understand each and every concept. In fact, I always say make it a question, like make assertion a question and reason an answer. So you can also relate, okay, is the answer to the question correct or not? So if assertion becomes a question and reason becomes an answer, you would also be able to relate whether it is the correct answer or not, or whether it is related to it or not. So that could also be one of the way. So the first tip that you must keep in mind while we are going through an assertion reason based question is you should read it very, very properly. In fact, read it 2 3 times. If you're not able to understand, read it 2 3 times, go through it till it becomes crystal clear to all of you. Then think of each and every statement independently. You should think of the statement. You should understand from where it has come, which topic is it related to, how is it interconnected. So if you're able to make the connection, you would be able to answer the options very, very carefully, because you all know there are 4 options that are basically put forward in an assertion based questions. Those are that assertion and reason are true. Reason is the correct explanation. Assertion reasons are true, but reasons is not the correct application explanation. Assertion is true, but reason is false. Both assertion and reasons are false. So for understanding all these 4 statements, we must have a complete knowledge about the 2 assertion and reason statement given to us. And above all, the most important thing to crack assertion and reason questions are you need to practice them regularly. You have a number of books, I'm sure. You are doing multiple choice questions practice for your AI, PMT, and NEET. So if you, in fact, go through assertion reason based question, if you regularly practice them, you would get a hold of it. You would be able to understand from where it has come, how you need to answer. We'll just take a question. We'll just take an example of it. This question is, assertion is given to us, E. coli having PBR 322. So E. coli here becomes our host. PBR 322 is our vector. It is having a DNA insert at BAM-HI site, cannot grow in a medium containing tetracycline. So I'll just read the statement again. E. coli having PBR 322 with DNA insert at BAM-HI site cannot grow in a medium containing tetracycline. So that's an assertion given to us. The reason to it is recognition site for BAM-HI is present at tetracycline region of PBR 322. So to understand these 2 statements, we must have a complete understanding of PBR 322 vector. The assertion basically says that we have a host cell E. coli in which there is a vector, there's a recombinant molecule. A recombinant molecule is made up of a vector and a DNA insert. So we have a recombinant molecule which contains the vector PBR 322 with the DNA insert, which is present at BAM-HI site. It is not growing in tetracycline region. Why? The reason why it is not growing in the tetracycline region is because the recognition site of BAM-HI is present at tetracycline region, because when we insert the DNA at the BAM-HI site, we also know that the tetracycline will become insertionally inactivated. So we have been able to understand the concept of insertional inactivation here. So because of insertional inactivation, since BAM-HI is present at tetracycline region, tetracycline region will become insertionally inactivated. So the E. coli host cell will not grow, the colonies will not grow in the tetracycline region, but it will be able to grow in the ampicillin region. So absolutely correct. Assertion is also correct. Why? Because DNA insert is present at BAM-HI, and reason is also giving us a complete answer. And since that BAM-HI is present at tetracycline region, so obviously it won't grow. The host will not be able to grow in the tetracycline region. I request please do not annotate, otherwise it would be very difficult for me to take forward these slides. So please just have patience. So from there, we are able to conclude that answer A, that is both assertion and reasons are true, and the reason is a correct explanation of the assertion. So from here, we can easily make out, and we must understand that there are 2 concepts which are related here. One, the vector, complete diagram of the vector should be known. And the second thing is insertional inactivation should also be known to us. Then we'll be able to answer this question correctly. So the next addition that we must talk about is in the biology paper is the case study, the passage based or the picture based questions. Again, this is new for you all. In fact, in the AIPMT or in the NEET examinations, also these things are not included. But maybe in the future to come, there will be some inductions like this. This is very new for you. And it is not what is exactly given in the English paper. Like we have given a paragraph to us and we need to find the answers from that. No, this is not the way for for solving these case-based or passage-based. The basic understanding for such questions is we need to read the picture, we need to read the passage, we need to read the cases very, very carefully. We need to understand each and every line. And then after we are able to do that, we are going to answer the questions, and all the questions are to be answered on the understanding of our NCRE textbook. So again, NCRE textbook have to be taken care. You should in fact prepare each and every picture, all the diagrams, all the graphical portions, all the graphs, everything should be taken care while you're preparing NCRE. Every line of NCRE should be known to you if you really want to answer these questions correctly. So there's a small paragraph which is given to us. I'll just discuss the question. The question given to us is, which of the following have a non-albuminous seed? Non-albuminous seeds are those which do not have endosperm in it. And the answer to this is the one which is not having endosperm to it is groundnut, or the example is pea. Students usually get confused with maize also, that maize is also a non-albuminous seed, but no, this is not true. Maize is a albuminous seed. It very well contain an endosperm as a food storage. But groundnut is an example of a non-albuminous seed which do not contain endosperm, which is used as a food storage. But the seed is considered to be very flush. It is very thick and fleshy in the case of the groundnut. So the answer to this particular question is groundnut. Again, in the paragraph, it is just the word which is mentioned to us. They have not given us the explanation about albuminous and non-albuminous. Our understanding, our knowledge, our conceptual clearance will help us to solve this particular question. It is not just we just read this paragraph and we'll be able to get the answer. No, that is not the thing, because it's an exemplar based. They may put a diagram to you. They may put a graph to you. They may put maybe a reasoning question to you, and they'll give you options. So you have to be very thoughtful, go through the concept very carefully, and again, stick to NCRE. If you are clear with the NCRE, and if you have a problem from NCRE, or if you're not able to understand the concept, then you may refer any other book. But for the time being, just prepare from the NCRE. That would be the Guru Mantra. That would be helpful for you to crack the board examination here. So with this, we have discussed the curriculum part. The curriculum have two inclusions. Again, assertion reason based, which again depends upon your presentations. It depends upon your practice. And the second one is your case based, the passage based, or the picture based questions, which again depends upon how carefully you are going through the text. They want to see how well your analytical knowledge is, how well are you practicing each and every concept. So this would be the, you can say this, the major hot things which would be included in this year's syllabus and would be helpful for you to score well in the exam. Now, the things that we need to talk about is the tips to score 100% in biology examination. See, it is not a rocket science. It is not just one day practice that would help you to get 100%. It is not that yesterday I started opening my book and I completed my 5 units in 2 days, and next day I went for my CBSE board exam and I scored 100. No, there is nobody like that who does it. It's in fact your hard work. It is in fact your regular practice which would give you 100% in biology exam. There is no rocket science behind it. You should just be consistent. You should just be regular in your studies. That would be the most important thing that you should focus upon. The first and the foremost thing, as I have been continuing, as I have been maintaining from a very long time, you need to read the NCRE books thoroughly to understand the concepts well. In fact, NCRE is considered to be the Bible of biology exam paper. For physics, chemistry, again, NCRE is required and you need reference book. But for biology, NCRE is considered to be the Bible. It's considered to be the Gita for us. If we are able to make proper notes, if we are able to have good A4 size sheets where we are drawing the diagrams, we are understanding the concepts with the help of diagram, I'm telling you, the ball will be in your court. Second thing, read in order to learn the important biological terminologies. I have seen students making mistake in their practical files. What mistakes do they do? The mistakes is they do not know the correct spelling. Saccharomyces cerevisiae, they don't know the proper spelling of it. Spellings, biological terminology, only biological vocabulary you can only score well when you write. The only Success behind this is written practice. You, in fact, have to jot down all the biological terminologies on a paper, on an A4 size sheet, or any notebook where you are writing your notes. List the biological vocabulary terms that you find in class 12th book. Wherever you find a difficult word, take that word out. Like you have a dictionary of English, you can also prepare a vocabulary of biology. That would be very, very helpful for you all. By writing them, by memorizing these complex biological terms, you would be able to understand NCRT. In fact, you can do Hindi of it. One line, just do Hindi of it if you're not able to understand. So you write it, you draw the diagram, and the best way, the easiest way to understand biology is, like, for example, the diagrams of reproduction, the diagrams which are involved in mechanisms of genetics. You can just draw the diagram, and simultaneously, with the help of arrows, you can write the steps. That would be very easy for you to understand. That would be very scoring also. And the more you write, the more you complete your things on a paper, the more you will be confident to answer the questions. Then, biology being a theoretical subject may also need multiple time readings. It is not just once that we have read it during the time of our midterm or the half yearly. We have closed the book. Now we are going to open it at the time of pre-boards. No, that should not be the spirit. It should be regular revisions. It should be regular grasping that you should keep in mind. Regular revisions of the subject is mandatory for biology, because you cannot retain all the things all the time. You need to at least go through it regularly, each and every chapter, whichever you feel like. You can just divide weekly, and then you can keep preparing it so that you keep a check on all these chapters. Then creating a stepwise summaries in your own words. Now, this is also very, very useful for the people. You can make flowchart, you can make mnemonics, or the best way is, once you complete one chapter, like you have done microbial microbes in the human welfare, just write the summary of it. Just write the important things that you have understood from that particular chapter, which you feel are important. So that would be very, very effective. The lastly, prepare flowcharts as long as possible. As far as possible, draw flowcharts like spermatogenesis, oogenesis. They have very nice flowcharts. Learn them, write them on the page, on a A4 size sheet. Make the summary of that particular points which are important from them. Where is mitosis going on? Where is meiosis going on? So these things would be very helpful for you. You would be able to understand the crisp points, and you will also be able to retain them for a very long time. So that would be, again, easiest way to score well. Next, the most important thing that is the heart of biology, we all know, are the well-labeled, neat diagrams. Diagrams are extremely important. We need to perceive the information, in fact, draw diagrams. As far as possible, while explaining 3 and 5 marks question, also draw good, well, neat labeled diagram. You would be able to fetch more marks instead of writing paragraphs. None of the teacher, none of the examiner likes long paragraphs. None of them. They all love to check good diagrams. They all love to check key points. They all love to check the answer in points. In fact, as a teacher, I would also want to see a paper which is very, you can say, concisely written, but to the point, highlighted very well, diagram drawn very neatly, important points being properly underlined. All these things will be, you can say, the icing up of the cake for you all. But if you write those paragraphs and you keep on explaining the mechanisms for 2-3 pages, that would be of no use. You would definitely lose marks, because the teacher would put a question mark and say, where is the crisp of that answer? Where is the key point of the mechanism? In the case of the translation, where is the formation of the amino acid? Where is the formation of elongation? Where is initiation? You have to write all these things in a very, very concise and in a diagrammatic manner. So diagrams are the heart of biology. Then try to solve more and more sample papers. In fact, everybody, being our heads, our teachers, they all say us sample papers or practice papers are must. The more we solve sample papers, the more we are able to acquaint ourselves towards the present format. We will be able to see how the questions are asked. And in fact, you would not believe that there is a very fair chance that there will be many questions which are repeated from previous years also. In fact, if you go from 10 years, you would see many of the questions in the board paper are actually coming up from the practice papers. And I'll tell you one more thing. What my student used to do was, one of my students in class 12 used to write the practice papers during this time of January, and used to send those practice papers to the school. Now, in any case, I had to check those sample papers. He used to put a slip on that and used to write, please check the sample paper and give me marks. So when it comes as a responsibility to you as a teacher, you have to solve it. You have to check it. So I used to check that sample paper and return it back. That would be also a very good practice where you will get to know where what your mistakes are. You can make a PDF of the answers, click the pictures, send it to your teacher, subject teacher, maybe on WhatsApp or any other media you're using. So that would also help you up, and you will be able to understand the mistakes, because definitely whomsoever is teaching you would love to see what you're writing as an answer, and will also highlight your weak areas and will help you to understand where you're going wrong. Revise the course a minimum of 3 times. In fact, by now you should have revised the course for 2 times. If not, then I think it is the right time for you to at least go through it very properly. You should be completed with the course by now, so that you can start with your revisions, so that you can start working upon the chapters where you're facing problem in. Lastly, revise your chapters at least 2 weeks before biology exam. We usually get a week-long holidays for biology paper. In fact, 4 5 days, so we definitely get. So in those 4 5 days, you should keep yourself ready with your notes, your good papers, your good A4 size sheets where your notes are very properly written. Just go through them as many times as you can. And also, at least once a day, keep 3 hours for yourself where you will be writing one sample paper and you'll be getting checked, or you just go through it, because that would be very, very helpful for you to go through the board exam. You will definitely have no stress in the paper if you revise your concepts very properly. If you revise with the help of your notes and you are doing one sample paper daily before the exam, you would be 101% confident to answer the question paper, because you already know what the format will be. It is just that there will be changes of the questions, which you just need your brain, and you'll be able to solve it very, very properly. So these are some very, very important tips that would help you to score 100% in biology exam. Now, the most important thing is the sure shot mantra for success in biology exam. The first and the foremost thing that everybody says for our subject is it is a thorough learning process. Bio, whenever we say word bio, they always say bio or biotechnology. Oh, you just have to learn. Kuch nahi karna, ratta marne wala subject hai. You just have to learn. No, it is not true. Biology doesn't involve learning. It is actually a very, very conceptual subject. There are a lot of biological terms which are long. In fact, if we talk about our present curriculum, genetics and biotech are related to each other, and they are not at all a learning based chapters. They are actually a proper conceptual based chapter where you need to put your brain how you're going to cut a DNA, how you're going to insert it into the vector, how it will be transferred into host. Or in the case of transcription, translation, how from DNA, the genetic language of DNA is converted into mRNA and then to protein. So it is not just a very, very simple language. We have computers involved into it. So genetics and biotechnology are thoroughly conceptual based chapters which do not involve proper learning, which involve proper understanding. You should read it. You should understand how the mechanisms are going through. You should be able to make a summary of those mechanisms, solve them up, do different questions, and you'll be able to understand how the questions are asked in the paper. In the paper, there are a lot of difficult level questions which are asked. They may change one amino acid with the other, and they may ask you to find the sequence of it, or diseases would be asked. So it's not true. It is a very, very conceptual and understanding based subject. So, and for preparing genetics and biotechnology, we should not focus on learning and mugging up. We should focus on understanding, writing. Just think over it, how the process is going on. The second is how to learn the difficult biology terminology. To learn the difficult biology terminology, to make a biology vocabulary, just the Guru Mantra is to write them on a piece of paper. Write all the terms on a piece of paper very, very carefully. And in fact, like for the case of this, I've given an example also. The genus of baculovirus is nucleopolyhedrovirus. So nucleopolyhedrovirus should be written on a paper, should be able to understand the genus of baculovirus. You will be able to grasp it easily. The more you write, the more you'll be able to understand, and it will be retained with you for a long period of time in your brain also, as well as in your notes also. So to learn the biological terminology, write them up. The last one is the importance of diagrams. Now there's a question, how Hershey and Chase proved that DNA is the genetic material. Now, rather than writing such a big paragraph on all the steps that were involved, sanctification or sedimentation, whatever be, it's better, infection, sedimentation, whatever be the steps, it's better you draw the flow chart. You draw a diagram. The more you draw with a diagram, you will be able to you will be able to save your mark, save your time also, and plus your answer would look beautiful. The teacher would also be able to understand there and then. Draw the diagram, write the steps simultaneously with it. This would give you full 3 marks if it's a three, because it's usually asked in 3 marks. And if it's for a 5 mark, there would be a rider with it. So even in the medical exams like NEET and AIMS, many diagram-based questions are asked these days. They may ask you to label a diagram, they may ask you to identify the image, or they may even simply ask you to draw a diagram. So in any case, if all these three forms are asked, diagrams would hold a lot of importance in our biology paper. So all these three things should be kept in mind. It is not a mugging up subject. It is not a ratifying subject. It is a proper analytical, conceptual based subject. It involves proper biological terminology, proper biological words are involved, vocabulary is involved. We need to write them on a piece of paper. We need to describe them. More we write, more we will be able to retain it. And the last one is we should be ready with our good neat A4 size sheets where we are drawing n number of diagrams. It will improve our artistic skills, and it will also help us to understand the concept in an easier. So let me tell you, you must have watched the movie Three Idiots. In the Three Idiots also, it was very clearly mentioned that the more we see, we are able to understand better rather than those mugging up. The one used to mug up the things was not considered very good. The more you see, जितना अच्छे से आप देखोगे उतने अच्छे से आप present कर पाओगे. So the more you draw diagrams, the more you will be able to retain the concept for a very, very long period of time. So if these three things are kept in your mind, I'm sure, again, the ball will be in your court and you'll be able to score very well in the biology board exam. Next, and the most important for which you people must be waiting for, is the section-wise strategy to attempt the biology exam paper. What is the things that we should keep in mind? What is the strategy that we must devise for solving the question paper? Earlier, children, till I think 2018 or 17, the paper was having 5 sections, which was A to E, and the importance of section C was very high. But as we are moving towards the National Education Policy NEP, the teaching has actually turned up into an application of blended teaching. An application-based study has been introduced. Concept building is primer given importance. So keeping in mind, the paper has also been redesigned. It has 4 sections, section A, B, C, D, as we have already discussed. The first section is a short answer, which involves our deep knowledge, which involves inline understanding. NCERT की एक line हमें पता होनी चाहिए. उसके लिए we need to underline the important points. We need to highlight. We should have a highlighter in our hand. Keep highlighting the important things that you feel. Keep reading it. So all the questions of 1 mark are usually inliners. They are one-liners, and they are used. They are put up from in between the chapters. They all depend upon our understanding. Need to be thorough with the book. Again, my focus is NCERT. It's the Bible. Just keep a check on all the lines of NCERT. In fact, the blue box, in fact, white box, yellow box, whatever boxes are there, you should have a complete knowledge of it, because always just leave all those portions. आप कुछ भी छोड़ के जाएंगे board exam में, I'm sure that would come in the exam. It is a very common thing that comes with all of us. The portion that we leave for an interview, for an exam, that is definitely asked in the paper. So you have to have a complete knowledge of each and every line from NCERT, and that readily will carry almost 22 marks. So to grasp those 22 marks, to be 100% scorer, your focus should be on section A. अगर section A lose होता है, 1 mark भी जाता है हमारा, our aim of getting 100% would be lost. There will be an addition of assertion-based, case studies, diagram-based, and passage-based question. And this will only be practiced when you will do sample papers. The more you do sample papers, the more you will be able to get these type of questions. Sample papers are available in N number. You can go through it. You can see from the internet, there are so many sample papers from KV and all, which are being given to us. So we can solve them up, and we will be getting a fair idea of these section A 22 marks. Moving on to section B, what type of questions are asked from this particular section? Now here, we usually get repeated questions from previous year's papers. If we have a complete knowledge of CBSE previous year's papers, we will be able to crack 2 marks. 2 marks are this time considered to be analytical. They won't be very, very simple. It won't be write a short note, or it won't be a define. This would be how would you do it? or what give reason for the following. So if we thoroughly practice 10 years paper, we will have a very fair chance of strengthening and improving our score in this section. This year, there's an in number of 2 marks question. Earlier, 2 marks questions were less, but from this year, there is an increase in the 2 marks questions, which I'm focusing would be tricky, which would be difficult. So they would also require your NCRD preparation. The major aim for CBSE board paper this year is it's conceptual based. It's an understanding based. It is not your mugging up syllabus. So section A and B would be the heart. If you really want to get 100% marks, you should focus on these two sections very, very carefully. Section B would be again of 9 questions and there will be 2 marks each. So if you have a very, very fair knowledge of previous year papers, if you're solving them regularly, you would also get many questions coming up from them. Next, we would have the section C. Section C is more of our knowledge, our memory, and our, again, applications. Here we commonly see mechanisms. We are commonly able to see the questions which are long type questions like Hershey and Chase experiment or the pneumonia one experiment would be asked. Then there would be many questions which would be, you can say, the one where we have to draw diagrams in this particular section. So section C is comparatively easy and most of us can focus. If we have a complete knowledge of the chapters, we will be able to answer them well in this particular section. There would be a total of 5 questions and it would be each carrying 3 marks. So our knowledge, our memory, and our application is tested from this particular section. The last, which is the longest one, is the long questions. They should attempt the question with more subparts. The trick here is CBSE puts you into trouble. If there is a 5-mark question, CBSE would give you subparts in this question. Subparts because definitely they know that you must be able to answer 2 parts correctly. There would be an error in the last part. So that's why the reason is you would be made to fall in trouble by giving you subparts. But if you have a thorough knowledge, if you are working very, very carefully, you will be able to answer them very, very easily. So to minimize the losing marks, to reduce the losing marks, there would be subparts also. So the moral of the story for this particular section is prepare well all the long answers. The single question would be with subparts and parts would be asked from a single chapter. So prepare well for 5 marks based on the weightage of the syllabus. Weightage of the syllabus, keep in mind and prepare the long answer, the 5-mark questions very, very carefully. Again, the most important thing from this section is intelligent choice made. You need to make a very intelligent choice for yourself because there will be all options in this question, in this section. If you have to attempt 3 questions from this section, there will be all options and it will be total of six questions. So out of these 6, you need to do only 3. And I'm telling you, students usually, due to the stress, due to the tension, they usually get confused which question should we attempt. And because of this, sometimes it happens that we know both of them. Like if it's question number 31, we know both the parts or parts also we know and the above part also we know. So here we may get confused. So here you have to make your intelligent choice. The one where you are 100% sure, the one where you are having a diagram or you're having a picture or you're having a graph, you should put forward that question. Attempt that question where you think that the marks, you are 100% sure that you won't be losing the marks. So that is the section-wise strategy that you should keep in mind for section D. There will be OR options. There will be subparts. In the subparts, also think of a clever choice, write the answer very clearly, and attach a diagram wherever possible. Attach a flowchart wherever possible. Like you can make a mnemonic. The best example of the mnemonic is Lina Zara Bani Dede, Liptotine, Pachotine, Zygotine, Diprotine, Dikinesis. The one which is in the prophase 1 of class 11th. Make a mnemonics of it. LPZDD, Liptotine, Pachotine, Zygotine, Diprotine, Dikinesis. You can make such mnemonics for class 12th also. Learn those mnemonics, write them in the paper. It would be easy for you to remember the terminologies also. So if you think on these lines, I am sure the paper would be in your hands. I am sure you would be able to attempt them very, very easily. Next, we shall move up upon the time management and scheduling. Very important. Now, how should we manage our time for the board examination? How should we manage our time before the paper? what should be the strategies, how should we prepare. Daily we have a lot of time, we prepare for our, we have coachings also, we have to give ourselves some self study time also. So during these self study time, what should we do, how should we focus on the board paper? The first and the foremost thing is prioritize. Make a to-do list which comprises of the chapters or the topics which you have completed first and the topics which can be studied later. Make a to-do list means make a list of the chapters you have already completed and make a list of the chapters that you want to do or you are facing problem in, and then start studying according to it. So you need to prioritize. Prioritize means you need to bring on the chapters to a priority. You need to understand, for example, genetics. If I'm facing problem in genetics, I have to prepare that first. Or if I'm facing problem in biotechnology, I have to prepare that first. If I need to draw diagrams of reproduction, take them into the existence and start doing it. So just have everything handy with you, write it. The more you write, the more you will be able to understand which things have to be taken first. Second, adopt a proper schedule. Now, this varies from child to child. I cannot force you to make a timetable right now, or I cannot design a timetable for you. It all depends upon you, your will, and your flexibility. I have seen some students enjoy studying in the morning. However, some of you just love to study at night when there's a lot of quietness all around. We are just into a mode of sleeping. So you can adopt a schedule according to your will, according to your flexibility, according to your choice. Make that schedule, and if you're not very comfortable with making a timetable, no need. Just just in a day, keep some short breaks for yourself, and keep studying it. Keep hours, divide your hours, have your breakfast on time. So all these things would be counted as a schedule for you. Then the most important thing is do not burden yourself. Do not be overburdened with the studies, with an overload of studies. Because if you are overburdened, if you're not relaxed, you will not be able to retain the concepts. Whenever we study from a pressure, whenever we study in stress, we do not retain it for a very long period of time. So just relax. This is not a war, it is just an examination. And the more we relax, the more we are chilled out, we will be able to score very well. So if you stress up yourself, you will lose concentration and your enthusiasm, your motivation will go definitely low. So just relax, take short breaks, talk to your friends. There can be a group studies. In fact, on the Zoom or on Teams, you can just meet each other. You can design your chapter. You can ask each other to discuss the concepts. If you're not very comfortable in from asking from your school teacher, you can meet amongst yourself. You can design a meeting, meet with each other, discuss the important topic that you want to do, and that could be also friendly studies. You would be able to refresh. You can talk to each other, talk to your friends, and there would be, the burden will also get low, and you will also feel more confident. Then the study techniques, biology, again, the Guru Mantra is diagrams, vocabulary, biological terminology to be written properly, drawing flowcharts, mind maps, mnemonics, the mnemonics that I told you right now, LPZ, DD, Lina, Zara, Pani De De, that can also be made, small words, and small Hindi names can be made for you, flowchart, and even we can make flashcards. Or near our study tables, we can make small chits, colorful chits, and we can write important terms. We can draw important diagram. We can put it on the study wall. So that would also be very, it looks good also, gives you an aesthetic view also, and you are able to understand more. So these can be various study techniques. Whenever you're feeling boring, draw a diagram. Whenever I used to feel bored in biology syllabus, I used to draw a diagram because I didn't want to study. So I used to pick up any nice diagram. I used to draw, color it out, make it very beautiful, or I used to write some good notes, whichever I feel like when I'm very stressed out. So that you can use those innovations, because it's all about innovation teaching that has coming up. Make a PPT, maybe you can use online sources, make a PPT. If you are very comfortable with computer system, draw diagrams, pick up the pictures, and then you will be refreshed and you'll enjoy studying the subject. And the last is to set goals. It becomes very important for us to have a very strong goal is very important. You cannot just think, when we think of the sky, we land up onto mountains. So we should always have an aim. Start thinking of scoring. Like if you are not able to score well in UT, no problem. Score in midterm, not in midterm, pre-boards. But there should be a limit. Board should be our limit. We have to have a motivating factor with us. Talk to your parents. Your parents would always be motivating to you. Your teachers would always be motivating to you. So work hard to attain your goal. Work hard to achieve your small successes. Small success would help you. Like if you score very well in pre-boards, that would be a boost to your performance. You will feel very good. And if you're able to solve 10 MCQs correctly, that would be a boost to your success. So these small successes would definitely build up to a large story for you. So these are the time management tips that you should keep in mind while you're preparing for your biology paper. Last but not the least is the time management during the biology board exam. This is very important. How should we divide our time in order to score well? The thing is, you should manage the time during the CBSE board exam is very, very crucial. Why? Because we have to complete the paper in a stipulated time frame. We are not given extra time. There is a time constraint given to us, 3 hours paper. There is a lot of stress which builds up during the paper when we are able to see when the paper comes to us. There is an increase in heart rate that goes on to most of the students. They start feeling sweaty, they start getting nervous. There are nervous breakdowns that are commonly seen. So for that, you should always devise a strategy. Divide your time strategically by setting a deadline to each section. Always set a deadline to each section. There should be some time limit. For example, I want to complete section A in 30 minutes. So try to complete them in 30 minutes so that you're able to focus on all other sections equally. Do not stuck at any one question. Now, this is what we commonly do. If we are not knowing one question, we will just be staying at that and we are not moving forward. No, that should not be the spirit. If you're not knowing it, leave some space in your paper and move forward. But always attempt it in a serial order. Don't just jumble up. One question from section A, then you attempt section B, and then you move to section C. No, that should not be the spirit. You don't know two questions, no problem. We'll do it at the end, not a big deal. Leave those two questions, move towards the next. So move strategically, move serially, and move by setting a deadline during the exam paper. Planning in advance will not only keep you organized. If you have a proper planning in your mind, it won't not only give you a proper organization, but would also ease up your pressure, but would also give you confidence that I have done the questions correctly. So a planning, when you see the paper, when those 15 marks are demarked, 15 minutes are given to you, at that time only devise your planning. At that time only think how I will be able to do. You want to do section D first? No problem, do section D first. You want to do section C first? No problem. In those 15 minutes that you get at 10:15 to 10:30, those 15 minutes that you get before the exam paper starts, you should start with your planning. You should think of something in your mind. It should not be just thinking of the question, mujhe ye nahi aata, wo nahi aata. No, don't do that. Just keep it those time frames and just design with the planning. So section A, what I feel is it should be given the maximum time because the maximum analytical questions would be asked. 22 questions are there. So we should be giving almost around 50 minutes to this section. Section B, which we have around 9 questions. We can give half an hour because it's of 2 marks. It need not be very lengthy. It should be of around 5 lines or depending upon the type of the question. Section C, again, it is descriptive. We have 5 questions, 3 marks. So we are confining almost 45 minutes to it. So 45 minutes would be sufficient for answering this section. And section D, which is of the longest, there will be 3 questions, but since these 3 questions are of 5 marks, so we should be able to demarcate almost 45 minutes to this section. So section A, we are giving 50 minutes. Why? Because we have almost 22 questions. It's a long section, 1 marker, thoughtful questions are there. So we are giving 50 minutes to it. Section B, we have a lot of around 9 questions and they are also technical. So we are giving half an hour to it. Section C is a descriptive where you have to write properly, where you have to elaborate. So we are giving 45 minutes. There are 5 questions into it. And section D, because it has to be highly elaborative with subparts, with all options. So we are again demarcating 45 minutes to it. So 50 plus 30 goes 80, 80 plus 90, 45 goes 90. So we have almost 170 minutes. Last 10 minutes, we keep for revision. Revision is a must. It's always said that we have to revise, but most of us don't get time to revise. So, but I would say if you follow this particular strategy, you'll definitely get those. You'll be able to get out at least 5 minutes for going through what you have written. At least just read before you submit your paper. So that would be helpful for you. With those last 10 minutes for revision, you would be able to understand, you will be able to completely devise a strategy for your examination. So with this time management, with this particular schedule, I'm sure you will be able to score well in the board exam. Before I move towards the thanking slide, I would just like to say that for your practical, uh, I have told you that we'll discuss something about the practicals also. For your practical, I would say that it was difficult for you to do hands-on training to go to school. So there are different types. The things that you should keep in mind is, first of all, complete your investigatory project, submit it, be it online or somewhere. Just make your PPTs or how you are doing it. You're making a file, just click the pictures and send it to your subject teacher. Complete your investigatory by now because it is very important. Investigatory project should be done by all of you. Second is your practical files. Complete all the practicals by now. You should have at least written all the practicals in the file by now for your practical exam also. It should not be left, you should not wait for anybody to give you a command. Ask your teacher, speak to her on call, or your subject teacher, whomsoever he or she is. Just take the practicals and start writing down. This would be very, very important. If you do not write the practicals, and if you wait for the guidelines to come, then I think it would be too late for you. So complete your investigatory, write your files, and keep watching YouTube videos. There are a lot of videos. The best website that I feel is Online Labs, OLabs. Go through OLabs, go to Class 12 Biology, and you will see all the experiments with simulations available. Just start watching them, and you will get a very fair idea what type of practical will come, how you have to do it. Once your school reopens, once your teacher calls you up, start doing in the lab, try understanding the practical. Always give a hands-on training because it would be helpful for you to solve the practical exam. It should not be teacher is demonstrating and you're not ready to at least solve it. Once the teacher demonstrates, start doing that practical, because at the end of the day, it would be only you that would be performing the practical. And let me tell you, there will be a proper practical exam, and external examiner will be coming to the school. There would be proper markings that would be given, viva would be conducted, so everything would go according to the schedule that used to happen till last year. So 30 marks given for the practicals have to be taken care. Please be ready with your practical files. Please be ready with your investigative projects. Submit them, get it checked by your subject teacher. And then at the end of the day, please keep watching the videos. In fact, you can also watch videos of biology chapters. If you're not able to understand translation, there are beautiful videos of translation available on the online. Go through it. Just keep reading it. Khan's Academy is also giving us beautiful description of genetic code, about the mechanism of transcription, translation. Everything is very well. In the ecology, organism, population, all the factors, everything is given very nicely. So with all these things, I'm sure if you keep all these things in mind, the ball will be in your court and you'll all be scoring very well. I would also like to end my presentation with a very good quote. It says, "A dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work." So if you want to make your dream of getting 100% into reality, you need to put in sweat, you need to be determined, and you should also keep your hard work in place. So with this, I'm open to questions. These are my credentials. You can reach to me on Gmail also. That's my Twitter handle. So anytime you can speak to me if you have any problems. Thank you. Over to you, Neha ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. You could stop the screen share if you'd like. And students, we are opening this for you in case there are any questions. Though I think, as I always say, the speakers speak breathlessly. I think for the last 1 hour, sir, you've not even taken a break for breathing. So that's how informative this has been. But in case anything has been left unanswered, students, quickly hop onto your chat windows and give us your questions. So I think right from time management to the sections that are omitted to the sections that the weightage that the paper carries, everything has been beautifully covered by sir. So students, any questions, you could please quickly put it in the chat window. Otherwise, sir, I think you've been really kind to even share your credentials, so they can reach you directly.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So I think they have taken complete information. We don't see any questions coming as of now. So, thank you so much, sir. In that case, I have really liked a line that you said. I've noted it down. You said sometimes small steps become big success, lead to big success. So, that's a very wonderful and a very meaningful line that you've put there, students. I think with the amount of clarity that has been provided to you by Mr. Datta, I think you just have to pick up the threads from where he's left it and now move ahead on your journey successfully. You have
There is a question, Neha ma'am, there's a question from someone, Kashish Shahi. She's asking about, can you repeat the name of the website for the practical?
Yeah,
It
so
is
she
on, yeah, it's online labs, O labs. It's
they've
online.
probably written to you directly, so I can't see it, sir. So in case there are any more questions that are directly coming to you, kindly please take them up.
Yeah, ma'am. It's OLAB, www.olabs.edu.in. I'll just write it in the chat box if you want, Kashish, the website or the link of it so that you can go through it. And there are beautiful videos which would be demonstrated for biology. Go through it and you'll be able to understand all the concepts very clearly. Simulations also you can practice. They have given animation and they've also given some YouTube videos directly. So practice from them. And above that, there will be Viva questions also, which would be given in the form of MCQs. So in any case, if you want to solve them, you can go through it. It's www.olabs.edu.in. So if you go through it, you'll be getting a fair idea of all the biology practicals for class 12.
Wonderful. So, sir, thank you very much on behalf of the entire Career Launch Education Foundation. We really thank you for taking out these 60 minutes. So much information, students. You should be thankful. At least hop onto your chats and give a big thank you to sir for all the selfless efforts that he's put in. And we promise to circulate it. And will also be available on the YouTube channels in case you want to go through all over again. So, meanwhile, I see another question that you may like to answer. Where
Yes,
can
ma'am.
we find the sample papers?
Yeah, it's a question from Ananya. She says, "So where can we find the sample papers for this year only?" As Ananya, you can get the sample papers from CBSE Guide. CBSE Guide website has a lot of sample papers. You can get it from KV sites, or in any case, there if you write CBSE sample papers 2020-21, you will be able to get a lot of questions from there also. So CBSE Guide is the website from where there are n number of sample papers which are presently designed, which are designed to solve the present paper are available. So CBSE Guide you can type and you will be able to get the sample papers also.
Okay, wonderful. So this is all that we have, sir, on the chat. So thank you very much once again. Thank you all the students for attending this with us. And we will come back with more sessions. On the 16th is scheduled the English. We will come back with the English session next for class 12. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Neha
for
ma'am, for
joining
this
us.
opportunity. Thank you so much,
Our
ma'am.
pleasure completely to have you host this for us, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Good day ahead, everybody. Bye-bye.